What's up everybody, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be featuring the classic triple starter team in the Ultra League Premier Cup. And Zionic actually made a video about this yesterday, but this is actually a team I've been running for the past 3 or 4 days on and off, and it's actually been working pretty well for me. And I absolutely love running triple starters. I mean, I made multiple videos featuring triple starters in Ultra League in Season 2, but the biggest roadblock there was Giratina Altered, right? Because Giratina Altered was an absolute wall to all these starters. It was very difficult to get past that, but you don't have to worry about Giratinas in Premier Cup, although you do have to worry about Dragonites. But Dragonites in Premier Cup are nowhere near as common as Giratina was in Ultra League, which is why this team actually works pretty well. So, some interesting battles in here, and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Charizard, with Venusaur and Swampert in the back. And I was actually playing around with different leads, but I personally felt that Charizard worked the best for me as the lead. But anyways, we have Charizard into Machamp. Now, this is a very bait-dependent matchup. Do obviously have to watch out for the Rock Slides. So, they do make a switch into their Snorlax, which is absolutely fine. I'm going to go straight for the Blast Burn here. This is going to do some heavy neutral damage to Snorlax and do about 50% of its health. And I'm going to switch into Venusaur here. I probably didn't need to do this, but the reason I do this is because Venusaur is definitely a little more bulkier than Charizard and can tank those body slams a little bit better. But I'm just going to go straight for the Frenzy Plant here. They should either get the shield from the Snorlax or take it out. Let's see what they decide to do here. They do shield that up, which is absolutely fine. And yeah, charge move coming through. This is probably just going to be a body slam, which is going to be neutral. But yeah, it's going to basically take another body slam to take us out. So I'm just going to go straight for the next Frenzy Plant here. They should definitely finish off the Snorlax unless they decide to burn both shields, which they don't, which is understandable. They're going to come in with Gengar and farm down here. So this is not great. I'm going to come in with Charizard because I want to try and get off a Dragon Claw. Even though Swampert has such a positive matchup against Gengar, I just want to come in with Charizard and try and get a shield out of them. But charge move coming through. I'm really hoping this is a Shadow Punch, but ends up being a Shadow Ball. So that pretty much takes out Charizard there. And now it's all up to Swampert. Machamp comes back in. I'm going to have to shield this up because a Cross Chop would do a decent amount of damage here. And yeah, another charge move coming through. I'm not going to shield this. I can't afford to shield at this point because I do have to save at least one shield for a potential Shadow Ball coming from a Gengar. So I'm just going to build up to 2 Hydro Cannons and go back to back here. They should either get the shield or get rid of the Machamp. It does get the shield, so I have another one stored up, and this should definitely finish off the Machamp here. Machamp is fairly glassy, but it's still a pretty tricky situation, right? Because the health on my Swampert is pretty low, and Gengar is going to come back in, but I'm able to get to a Hydro Cannon. Actually, they win the CMP there, and they decide to throw a charge move. So that's actually a mistake on their part. Because if they had just committed to the complete fast move farm down, they probably would have won this game. But because they throw the charge move, I was able to shield and get off a last second Hydro Cannon. And Swampert with 1 HP and a Dream was able to take the win there. So Swampert is just so OP. I mean, it's exactly why I like to have it as a closer. I mean, in any league, it's just absolutely incredible. So 1-0 start to the set right now, and yeah, that was very intense. So we have Charizard into Amphros. Not a good lead at all, again, because those electric moves would do super effective damage because of the flying typing. And they counter my Venusaur with their Caesar. So this is not a great matchup again because everything Venusaur has is going to be double resisted by the Caesar because of the steel bug typing. And it's almost impossible for me to win switch advantage at this point because I'm going to have to win switch advantage to ensure that my Swampert is lined up against their Amphros and not my Charizard. But we'll have to see how we can play around this one. So Ironhead almost takes out my Venusaur here. And I'm going to come in with Charizard and completely farm this thing down. And charge move coming through. I'm not worried about it. This is probably just going to be a Night Slash, which isn't really going to do that much damage. Yeah, I'm going to come out of this matchup with a lot of loaded energy here. And I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw immediately onto the Amphros. I know the Amphros is coming back. So I'm just going to go straight for the Dragon Claw and try and get a shield out of them. And then immediately switch into Swampert here. So I'm going to switch into Swampert and hope that they don't have a Swampert counter in the back, but they have a Gyarados. So this is absolutely terrible again. Gyarados completely walls Swampert because everything it has is double resisted or resisted because of the water flying typing. And yeah, these Hydro Cannons are obviously resisted, but it still does a decent amount of damage, right? In Ultra League, it probably takes 3 Hydro Cannons to get rid of a Gyarados, which is not bad. And I'm not going to shield this. I'm really backing Swampert to get to a charge move without shielding, but we lag a little bit here. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but we lagged just a little bit and I wasn't able to get off that Hydro Cannon, and that ends up costing me the game here. Because if I had gotten off that Hydro Cannon, I could have at least gotten a shield or taken out the Gyarados, and that would have made a difference here. Because now I had to burn a shield on Charizard and, you know, also just take a lot of damage from those Dragon Breaths. And it's pretty much GG's at this point, because I definitely needed a lot of health and also a 2 shield advantage to beat the Amphros, but doesn't look like we're going to get that. And yeah, it's pretty much going to be a GG's at this point, because they're going to be able to volt switches down. So Amphros can be pretty tricky, but it's not that hard because you have, you know, 2 solid answers to electric types in the back. But I guess when you can't win switch advantage, it can be very tricky, right? So anyways, that I believe is the only loss of this set. We are moving into the third battle. We met with an Obstagoon here. It's a pretty neutral matchup. And in this matchup, I typically like to go straight for the Blast Burn, because I just don't see the point in baiting, because if they don't shield, it really isn't going to do that much. Might as well try and get a shield or do massive amount of damage here. So it's going to go straight for the Blast Burn. It goes unshielded, so just does so much damage there. And at this point, I'm going to shield and try and Fire Spin farm this Obstagoon down, right? So we're going to be down a shield, but we're going to have switch advantage and also a lot of energy advantage here. They did get the boost, but it's absolutely fine. We're able to take it out. Poliwrath comes in, going to go straight for the Blast Burn here. Now, even though this is resisted, it would still do quite a bit of damage there. It does get the shield, which is absolutely fine. And they're going to basically have to throw a charge move, right? Because those mud shots are doing very little damage, being resisted because of the flying typing. And yeah, X is out. I'm going to come in with Venusaur here. This is a very positive matchup, obviously. Ice Punch would do super effective damage, but it really isn't going to do that much, right? It's going to probably take them 3 Ice Punches to get rid of Venusaur. They make a switch into their Caesar, going to go into Swampert here. So I'm going to have to play this carefully. I'm not going to shield the first one, because just in case they get the boost, I might need to save the shields for later. They did get the boost, so I'm going to build up a little extra energy. And I'm obviously going to shield this up, because this would do quite a bit of damage here. And yeah, I'm going to try and go for the Hydro Cannon and really trying to bait out a shield here, because if they shield this up, then I can go straight for the Earthquake. Both of them would be neutral, of course, but Earthquake obviously is going to do a lot more damage. And Earthquake is definitely going to one-shot the Caesar from this range, because luckily we're able to get to it just in time here. And as you can see, and Poliwrath's basically going to have to throw its charge move, right? I'm not going to throw the charge move because I want them to not overfarm here. I want them to kind of just dump their energy on me before I can get to an Earthquake. And we almost have a Frenzy Plant on Venusaur, and I'm going to be able to get it off. And this is pretty much going to one-shot the Poliwrath from this range and take the win there. So yeah, it finishes off Poliwrath, and it's pretty straightforward there. So that's a 2-in-1 start to the set right now. As you can see, this team actually does pretty well. Even that second game, I guess, if I hadn't lagged, I probably could have won. But I guess, you know, there are certain situations when you lose. It's very rock, paper, scissors, where I guess when you lose the lead and then they have the perfect hard counters, there's no way to win. But the exact opposite works as well. Like in this particular scenario, they have a Venusaur in the lead. This is absolutely beautiful. Perfect lead here, and they are still staying in. They make a switch into their Swampert, going to go into Venusaur. This is best case scenario, like I said. We have the perfect hard counters for their team here, and I know this is going to be an Earthquake, which is why I'm going to shield this up. I typically don't like to shield this matchup because we can survive an Earthquake, but I know it's going to be an Earthquake anyway. But now I can overfarm, right? I can build up to 2 Frenzy Plants and then go back to back here. If they decide to shield the first one, they do let that go through, which is understandable. And they're going to come back in with Venusaur. This is absolutely fine. We have a lot of loaded energy, and Sludge Bomb would do some heavy neutral damage because of the Grass Poison typing on the Venusaur here. And yeah, Charge Move coming through. This is probably going to be another Sludge Bomb. Doesn't really matter. They're going to basically need 2 Charge Moves to get rid of Venusaur from this range. And I can just come back in with Charizard and farm this thing down. So I'm just going to go straight for the Sludge Bomb here. They should either almost take out the Venusaur or get their final shield. Does connect. That almost takes it out. So I'm just going to let this go through. It's absolutely fine. It's probably just going to be a Frenzy Plant here. It's almost enough to take us out. And yeah, I can just come back in with Charizard and just farm this thing down, and let's see what they have in the back. They have a Clefable in the back, and this is pretty much GG's at this point, because I can go straight for the Blast Burn here. There's no point baiting, and we land the Blast Burn, so I can go straight for the Dragon Claw right now. This should definitely get the shield from Clefable, and it's pretty much GG's because we still have a shield advantage and also plenty of health on Charizard and also a full health Swampert in the back as well. So yeah, they decided to leave the match because there's no way they were going to come back from that. So a lot of teams have multiple Pokemon which are weak to Charizard in the back. You know, like, I wouldn't say Charmers are kind of weak to Charizard, and then of course Venusaur and the likes of Escavalier, etc., and even Caesar as well. So I met with another Machamp lead here. So again, in this matchup, against a very bait dependent matchup, typically what I do is I always shield, because even if it's a bait, it's just not worth risking it because Rock Slide has that one-shot potential. And I'm going to bait as well, right? I'm going to build up a little extra energy and bait because Machamp is so glassy. They're going to be inclined to shield anyways. And as you can see, we get the first shield here. So I'm just going to go straight for the next Dragon Claw. They probably know this is just a Dragon Claw, but I wanted to get off another charge move before they get off a charge move. So Dragon Claw does connect. And I was trying to make a switch, but I decided to stay in this matchup because I'm going to shield this up and completely farm this Machamp down, right? So even though we lose shield advantage, or we're down a shield, we're going to have switch advantage here and have a lot of loaded energy to tackle whatever's going to come out next. They're going to bring in Gengar, so I'm going to go straight for the Dragon Claw here. The reason I go for Dragon Claw is I know they're going to shield, and I'm really trying to get off 2 of these right now. But unfortunately, we go down to Shadow Claw. So this is not great because Gengar with loaded energy, when shields are down, can be extremely destructive. So I'm just going to come in with Swampert and try and catch the Shadow Ball with Venusaur. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. So charge move coming through, but it's only a Shadow Punch. This probably tells me they're running Shadow Punch and Sludge Bomb. So I'm just going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. This is definitely going to take out Gengar from this range. As it does, and let's see what they find. It's a Charizard in the back. This is absolutely GG's because, yeah, and they decided to leave the match there. So they were probably running Shadow Punch and Sludge Bomb, which is why they decided to throw the Shadow Punch on Swampert. I mean, if they had Shadow Ball, then it would have been really tricky because my Venusaur would have really struggled against their Charizard in the back. So overall, like you can see, it's a pretty successful set. We did go 4-1 in this set, so that's not bad. And consistently, I've been going like 3-2s and 4-1s, like in like 3 or 4 sets of battles that I've done with this team so far. And yeah, like I said, overall it's pretty solid and has pretty decent coverage against most of the meta. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button as well. And I will see you next time.